pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of August 17th, 2020?
I'll move.
I second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve appropriations ordinance number 34?
Approve ordinance number 34.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Declare the public input session open for any items not on the agenda. Seeing none, is there anything online? Okay, anything from the bench?
I have nothing.
I just have one thing, we've said it before, but A. McPherson, take part in the census. There's still some of you out there that have not recorded. Somebody will come to your door, you can go online. This is important. School lunch, community development block grants, which we have had several of. All of those are dependent for funding for the next 10 years on census. The higher our census, the better it will mean thousands of dollars to the McPherson community and to the county and to the state. So please fill that out and get it in. We would like to exceed 90% if possible, so go out there and get it done, please. With that, I'll declare the public input session closed. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as distributed?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we're honored again today to have Tim Meyer, VPU.
Morning, Mayor, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I'd like to go over our 6-month operational report. From a kilowatt hour sales perspective on the electric side, kilowatt hour sales were up 11.93% compared to last year. And again, there was a major industry that had a turnaround last year, which impacted that. I will say I did look at July numbers on a daily basis for industrial customers. In 2020, it was actually down, I think, 0.3 or 0.6%. So it's almost the same as it was last year, which I think is very good given the circumstances. So I think industry in general in McPherson is not doing too bad. I'm sure there are a few that maybe not that way, but overall it doesn't look too bad. From a cost perspective on a power supply, cost per kilowatt hour with capacity and transmission from our supplier was down 6.63%. The cost of the energy, just the fuel bill, it actually was up 0.3%. And then if you look at the individual components capacity charge, which is what we pay for the generating units, that was down 24.09%. That was mainly due to our wind contracts. We got wind capacity credits, and that's helped us out tremendously to the tune of about $180,000 a month. So that gets directly passed to the customer. So we've seen an improvement there. And transmission charges are actually down 8.47% as well. So both of those I think have been pretty good. If you look at...
Can I ask you a question while
Yes.
you're there? We have the one down by Kingman,
Yes.
but we're not online yet, up over here at Soldier Field.
Soldier Creek, which is in,
Creek.
it's up north, northeast. I just had Nemaha County. So, and that should come on December. I think it's still scheduled December, January.
Okay.
So, Kingman, we get 37 megawatts of capacity. So you buy that many wind turbines, and then however hard the wind blows, that's how much you get. And Kingman represents about 15% of our energy supply. At Soldier Creek, we actually purchased 75 megawatts of capacity. I would guess that the wind's not quite as good up there as it maybe is in western Kansas, kind of south. But we should be receiving, I would guess, around 40% of our energy from those wind contracts. And again, so far this year, those have been our cheapest energy resource. So contrary to what I think a lot of people believe, and the new one will very definitely be the cheapest. So I think from an energy supply perspective, next year should be better than it is this year financially. So,
From a competition standpoint, does that lower the cost as well?
oh yeah,
I
no,
mean-
because all that gets, well, so with a wind contract, it's a take or pay contract, so whatever it produces, you have to get it. I don't know if that answered your question,
sure.
but, and all those, the energy costs get passed right on to the customer.
Right.
So it should help us, I think, a lot next year. So looking forward to those coming online, kind of seeing where it lands.
Yeah,
So,
thanks for the extra detail.
but definitely that'll be an improvement. If you look at the individual customer classes, residential, which residential makes up 5.6% of our sales, it was down 3.9%. Commercial was 8.2% of our sales, down 6.6%. Industrial, 77.6% of our sales. That was up 17.1%. Again, we had an industry who was in a turnaround. And rural makes up 2.3%. It was down 4.4%. Cost per kilowatt hour residential was 7.7 cents per kilowatt hour, which is actually down over the previous year of 8.1. So, in industrial, was 5 cents a kilowatt hour, down from 5.7 the previous year. So, kind of on the water side, get that page. Gallons sold, it was actually up 1.9%. Lost and unaccounted for was up quite a bit. Lost and unaccounted for was 11.55%. Industry-wide, that's not bad. It's worse than what we're typically accustomed to. We have spent probably a week driving, walking some areas that we don't have, where we have water main that's not adjacent to a street or an area that people normally travel. We have a few mains that are kind of cross-country, not a lot. Again, if the public sees large leaks, please let us know, because we continue to try and find, where that water went to. It amounts to about 30 million gallons more than typical. So, I've reached out to the fire chief about, fire flows, and do fire hydrant testing. I don't think that quantity of water is enough to make this up. I don't think it's a material amount when you look at this. So, we'll continue to look at that. It could be given the age of our meters. They're starting to change somewhat, but again, I think that would be a marginal, probably not the whole thing. So we'll continue to try and find that issue. If you look at the individual areas, residential, this is a lot more balanced. Residential makes up 47.5% of our sales. That was up about 8%. And commercial makes up 47.7% of our sales. That was down 2.7%. So, I don't know if you have any questions about any of that. Just a kind of an update on some of our projects. The AMI project where we're converting meters, we've for the past several years, we've had several meters, probably at least a third to maybe 50% of our meters we could remotely read with a basically a handheld device or drive up and down the road. These meters actually allow two-way communication from the office. But we have about 4,600 of them installed as of today. We've been working on it for 7 weeks. There's about 6,800 of what I would consider kind of a standard 2S residential style meter, 120, 240 volt, single phase. We have about 6,800 in town. So I'd say 2 to 3 more weeks and we'll probably be done with those in town. And then we'll start moving to the rural. And then once we get past the demand season, we'll start doing our larger customers, one that actually have a demand style meter. But things have gone, I think, fairly well. We're ahead of schedule. It's actually gone faster than what we thought it would, to be quite honest. But anymore, the guys that are doing it, they have an iPad. We do everything online. It automatically doesn't automatically, but you download the file the next morning. In the old days, you had to take a piece of paper, transpose everything. This is just a lot faster and more efficient. So it's one of the reasons we wanted to wait until we had mobile, is what they call it with our software. Once we got the mobile application, it makes things a whole lot easier. On water line installation on Ash Street, all the lines in. They should have got a sample back last Friday. Should be starting to convert some of the services. I think we only have 7 left, and then we need to repair the paving. I would hope to be out of there next week. And then we'll probably be done with Stevens this year and done doing major water line replacement. We are going to go replace a 2-inch cast iron main on Simpson Street from Hardup to Lakeside Drive. We'll do that ourselves with our own crews. We purchased a boring machine last year that'll do smaller pipe, and we'll bore that whole thing, that stretch, and then do that conversion. We've had several leaks there historically, and so we're going to try and update that ourselves. On kind of the section Wheeler, north of Loomis, south of Hardup, south of Holtz, where we've done the overhead to underground conversion. We have 5 meters left to do, and all those need to be bored. So hopefully in the next week or 2 we'll get those done, and then we'll have to wreck out the overhead line that's in there. The only thing that's left overhead is from the pole to the house. Some people have chosen to convert that to underground, which are the 5 that we have left. And the other one, we still have a pole back there that has to hold the conductor to get to the house. Otherwise, all the overhead comes down, the transformers come down. It's an area it's a blind alley, so you can't get back there and work on it. You can't get back there to trim trees, so that'll be a good improvement. And then later this week, first of next week, we'll move over to the street lights on South Hardup and Elizabeth. So I think they're getting things cleaned up so we can go in there. Lenny will probably call in and locate today or a little bit later this week, and we'll go over there and start working. So I think that's everything I've got.
Thank you.
You bet.
Appreciate it, Tim. Okay, call on Chief Weisman, Fire Department matters.
I'm actually going to have Firefighter Peterson present the MDA boot drive to you guys. If Zach, you want to come up?
Morning, Mayor, Commissioners.
Morning.
We're doing our annual MDA fundraiser for muscular dystrophy on September 12th from 9 to noon. Basically, just wanted to ask if we could do a boot block at Maine and Kansas from 9 to noon that day. And we'll also be at Dillon's and Walmart collecting money for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. So,
Okay. I'd like to move to approve the Muscular Dystrophy Association Fill the Boot fundraiser event to be held Saturday, September 12, 2020, from 9 to 12 at the intersection of Kansas and Maine, as well as Walmart and Dillon's.
I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
thank you.
You're in business, Zach.
Thank you.
One other item for you this morning. The city of McPherson is currently restoring a 1928 American LaFrance fire engine. This project does not utilize tax dollars. Just want to reemphasize that. Citizens, businesses, and local industries have stepped forward to provide services and financial support of the project. The project's moving forward at a good pace. Rob Carroll, sandblasting out of Kansas City, Kansas, a long-standing contractor of CHS Refinery, has stepped forward to donate their services. Rob Carroll will be media blasting the entire apparatus and coordinate efforts with Dacus for paint and body. We would like to say thank you to Rob Carroll for sandblasting, for the generous donation and time of services. The next thing we have here is KBR LLC out of Estes Park, Colorado, has been advising us throughout this project. Doug Klink was tasked with repairing very technical parts of the engine as well as locating missing items for the apparatus. He has located most of the missing items such as the axe mount, hard suction couplings, hand lantern, and engine components. The cost of the parts and services came to a total of $1,461.77. We request a motion to pay payment to KBR LLC for an amount not to exceed $1,461.77 for parts and labor. Again, this is from private donations, no tax dollars are utilized.
I'll move to approve payment to KVR LLC for parts and labor as part of the 1928 American LaFrance restoration for amount not to exceed $1,461.77.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I went out there about 2 weeks ago and it's all tore apart. And I think when we get done with the sandblasting and the painting, it's gonna start to really look great. But guys are doing a really good job. There's a lot of work to tearing down everything. And basically, all the nuts and bolts are laying there in different orderly fashion to be put back in, but they're doing a great job.
That is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, public lands and facilities. Nope. Police chief. He's been gone so long I forget about him.
Good morning, Mayor,
Good
Commissioners.
morning.
All right, first thing I have this morning is motion to accept the resignation of Ryan Albrecht, a patrol sergeant, effective September 6th, 2020, and begin the hiring process for a police officer. Sergeant Albrecht has decided to become a member of the McPherson County Sheriff's Department, and he will be missed.
I'll move to accept the resignation of Ryan Albrecht, patrol sergeant, effective September 6, 2020, and begin the hiring process for a police officer.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Second thing I have is a motion to approve making a conditional job offer to Sean Heim for the position of school crossing guard, pending successful pre-employment requirements, effective August 31st, 2020. This just gives us an alternate if somebody doesn't show up for their location.
I'll move making a conditional job offer to Sean Hine in the position of school crossing guard pending successful pre-employment requirements effective August 31st, 2020.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The third item I have is the 2019 Crime Statistics Report from the KBI. Just wanted to go over some of the numbers with you.
It's in Jeff's
There
mailbox.
is no crime, and that's all I have for you. There we go. So the first item we have is the total calls for service annually. Last year, we had 16,840 calls for service. In 2018 and 2019, we had 19,088, so we went up a little bit in our calls for service. Reports generated, in 2018, we had 1994, and last year we had 2,226 reports generated by the police department. Citations have gone up from 2018, 1,490 to 2019, 2,491. Obviously, we had more officers on the street, able to write more citations, get more traffic enforcement. Arrests went from 461 in 2018 to 613 in 2019. Violent crimes and property crimes are down. In 2018, it was 313 reports that we took. In 2019, it was 271. The KBI's crime index total on violent crimes shows that McPherson in 2018 went from 24 violent crimes to 26. There was 12,694 in the state. Murder, we had no murders in 2019. There was 130 in the state. Rapes, they went from 4 in 2018 to 5 in 2019. There was 1,297 of them in the state. Robbery went from 6 in 2018 to 0 in 2019. There was 1,422 of those in the state. Aggravated assault and batteries went from 13 to 21, and there was 9,845 of those in the state. The crime index total property crimes, McPherson had 245 in 2019, which was a decrease from 2018 of 289. There was 74,314 property crimes in the state of Kansas. Burglary of structures went from 49 to 30. There was 11,277 of those in the state. Thefts went from 218 to 209. There was 54,990 in the state reported. Motor vehicle deaths went from 22 to 6 in McPherson. There was 8,047 in the state. Arson remained the same at 1. There was 463 in the state. 1 out of every 503 citizens were a victim of a violent crime in McPherson. 1 out of every 53 citizens were a victim of property crime. The last point I would like to make on that is 9 p.m. routine. Make sure you turn on your lights, lock your vehicles, lock your doors, and just make sure there's lighting out there and keep your valuables inside locked up. And that's our report for 2019.
Thank you.
I would like to move that we accept the crime index 2019 report
And also included is the KBI's report, which
and
is
the
the other one.
KBI's report.
I'll
I
second
second
it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we're down to public lands for real this time.
Morning.
Morning.
Oh,
Have a couple items for Turkey Creek Golf Course. The first one is staff is requesting approve the purchase of grass seed and starter fertilizer from Pride Ag Resources for Turkey Creek Golf Course for an amount not to exceed $10,000.
I'd make the motion to approve the purchase of grass seed and starter fertilizer from Pride Ag Resources for Turkey Creek Golf Course for an amount not to exceed $10,000.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The next one is approval to purchase a new motor for the 2014 Jacobson 311 at Turkey Creek Golf Course in the amount not to exceed $19,747.50.
And again, I would make the motion to approve the purchase of one new diesel motor from Kansas Golf and Turf for the 2014 Jacobs 311 rough mower at Turkey Creek Golf Course for an amount not to exceed $19,747.50.
I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, we're down to planning and zoning matters. Colin Virgil.
Morning.
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 I have two items for your consideration today. The first item is ordinance number 3341, First Street Mini Storage. Larry and Joyce Smith have proposed a change in zoning district classification from the R1 Single Family Residential District to Overlay District Number 6. Just for clarification, that's the B2 Neighborhood Business District with one conditional use permitted as mini storage. That's the only thing you'd be allowed to do there by conditional use. It was filed under case number Z-20-02 for property generally located at 820 East First Street here in the city. The case was heard at the Planning Commission's regularly scheduled meeting of August 4th. Proper notice was delivered and published as required. And we explained what the district is. The rezoning request is intended to support expansion of an existing mini storage owned by the Smiths into as yet undeveloped land. So we recommend a motion to adopt ordinance number 3341, an ordinance changing the district classification of certain lands in the city as described and as originally approved by ordinance number 3016 and authorize the mayor to sign.
I move that we adopt ordinance number 3341, an ordinance changing the zoning district classification of certain lands located in the city of McPherson, Kansas under the authority granted by the zoning regulations of the city as originally approved by ordinance number 3016 and authorize the mayor to sign the change order.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The next item is vacation. Jeremy Schmidt, pursuant to section 10-103A of the city's subdivision regulations, requests a vacation of a portion of Woodside Street adjacent to the south line of Block 6 of Arell subdivision in the city of McPherson. The legal description is posted. I won't try to carry you through that. The area contains 3,963 square feet and does contain an easement of record. The city will retain that easement. The case was heard by the Planning Commission at its regularly scheduled meeting on August 4th and recommends that the vacation be granted. Properly conducted meeting has been held before the City Planning Commission as required by KSA 12-504, etc. During the meeting, it was determined that no private rights would be injured or endangered. No public loss would be suffered, and no inconvenience would be incurred thereby, and in justice to the petitioner, prayer of the position not to be granted. No written objection was received by the city clerk. So it's recommended that we vacate a portion of Woodside Street adjacent to the south line of Block 6, the rail subdivision, City of McPherson, legally described in said order containing 3,963 square feet, subject to the easement that we'll retain, and we authorize the mayor to sign.
Okay, I move that we vacate a portion of Woodside Street adjacent to the south line of Block 6, Ariel's subdivision, City of McPherson, McPherson County, Kansas, legally described in said order containing 3,963 square feet, subject to any easements or restrictions of record, and authorize the mayor to sign it.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, Jeff Woodward.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Jeff.
The first item I have for your consideration is out of the street department. It's repairs done to the street department loader. The starter on the loader at the street department locked and the machine wasn't shifting correctly. Both starter and gear shifter had to be replaced. We received an invoice from Foley Equipment in the amount of $1,652.73.
I move that we approve payment to Foley Equipment to repair the loader at the street department for an amount not to exceed $1,652.73.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The next item, again out of the street department, are brooms through Truck Component Services for the street sweeper. As part of the maintenance of the street sweeper, we are required to replace brooms from time to time. We need one main broom at $465, two front brooms at $428.01, four side brooms at $225, and four debris deflectors at $29.83 each, and freight cost of $355. We received a quote from Truck Component Services, Stafford, Missouri, in the amount of $2,695.34 delivered.
I move that we approve the purchase of the main broom, two front brooms, four side brooms, and four debris deflectors for the street sweeper from Truck Component Service, Stafford, Missouri, for an amount not to exceed $2,695.34 delivered.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The next item, again out of the street department for the 2020 mill and overlay projects. This is patching done by the street department crew with material purchased from APAC, Kansas. The street department did an excellent job patching head of the laydown machine after the milling of the 2020 mill and overlay project streets. They used a total of 306.07 tons for a total cost of $18,283.50 for materials only purchased from APAC Kansas Incorporated.
I move that we approve the purchase of 306.07 tons of hot mix asphalt patching material from Apex, Kansas for a cost not to exceed $18,283.50.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The next item is out of the wastewater treatment facility. The automatic transfer switch at lift station 8 failed. These switches control the emergency generators in case of a power loss. We received a quote from Headland Electric in the amount of $4,481. We did not get a second quote because Headland installed the automatic transfer switches on the other lift station. When we purchased the backup generators, they're familiar with the equipment and the coming startup requirements.
And I move that we approve the purchase of and installation of replacement automatic transfer switch for lift station number 8 from Headland Electric, Inc. for a cost not to exceed $4,481.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The next item is change order number 1 for the 2020 mill and overlay project with APAC Kansas Incorporated. Change order number 1 was revised from what was presented in study session last week, with the payment marking items now included. The increase of the contract is reduced. Change order number 1, adjust all quantities on the 2020 mill and overlay project. The only significant change was the overrun of the patching on Walnut Street. After Walnut Street was milled, it fell apart. A total of 128 tons of contractor furnished patching was needed for this project. APAC Kansas assisted the street department crew in patching the existing roadway. At the conclusion, we have a street that will withstand the test of time. Change order number 1 increases the contract with APAC Kansas by $21,213.60.
I move that we approve change order number 1, Apex Kansas Incorporated, for the 2020 mill and overlay project for an additional patching for the cost not to exceed $21,213.60, and authorize the mayor to sign and director of public works to sign the change order.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And finally, I'd like to give you an update on the projects we have ongoing at this time. First is an update on the Grimes-Anna Street reconstruction project. The contractor has completed all remaining items on the punch list. The project was accepted on August 19, 2020. Next is an update on the Hardup Elizabeth Street reconstruction project. Hardup Street, the 3rd and 4th sections south of Hardup, the rock, base, and straight runs of curb and gutter were completed last week. Driveways and tie-ins are scheduled to start this week. The contractor again was able to work on 2 sections back to back because Side Street intersects in the middle of these 2 sections and residents have room to park there. Hardup Street, Elizabeth to Kansas, all concrete was placed. The striping is scheduled for this week, and this section should be opened up late this week, as well as the intersection of Park and Elizabeth. All the concrete was placed in that intersection last week. Striping is scheduled to be completed this week, and the intersection opened up just in the time for school to start. Hardup Street, Avenue A to Hancock is closed through traffic with local access from Avenue A, Hancock, and sides. Through traffic is detoured onto Park Street. Hardup Street, Elizabeth to Kansas remains closed, but again should be open this week. The intersection of Park and Elizabeth remains closed and should be open this week as well. The west leg of the intersection of Hancock and Hardup is closed, but is scheduled to open up today. Next, an update on the Hulse area drainage project. Pavement was completed over the First Street box, and some cleanup items continued. The only street closure associated with this project is the First Street, which is closed between the high school and North High Drive. It's scheduled to open late this week. Traffic is detoured onto Maxwell, Kansas, and Maine. And then we'll have some pavement marking that'll have to be done after school has actually reconvened. Next is an update on the Chestnut Street Improvement Project. No work was accomplished on this project due to the entire Kansas paving crew being quarantined. We are waiting on word from the contractors when they will be able to return. The street will remain open to through traffic, through construction when possible, with very limited street parking. There will be times when the street will be closed, but residents should be able to access their property from one end of the block or the other. Next is the 2020 mill and overlay projects. The pavement marking on the 2020 mill and overlay project is complete, and I won't read through the list. I read through those last week. The conventional seal and fog seal project is complete. They are Ash Street, Kansas Avenue to the railroad crossing, North Glen, Hulse, north 625 feet, Kirshner Drive, the entire street, Chestnut, Marlin to Simpson, 5th Street, Walnut to Maple, Fifth Street, Walnut to Maple, Ashman, Simpson to Sharp, Ranch Road, Penn to Northview, Highland Drive, the entire street, Woodside, Main to Oak, Hancock, Grand to Hardup, Marlin, Main to Ash, Euclid, Main to the railroad crossing, Hill, Ash to Elm, Olive, Main to Ash, Lucy, Grant to Hayes, Garfield, Gildersleeve to Hickory, Augustus, Kansas to Lincoln, Sites, Main to Walnut, Avenue D, Main to Elm, Roosevelt Street, Kansas to McKinley, Chestnut, Elizabeth Avenue A, as well as Cemetery Drive. We appreciate everyone's cooperation during this construction season. We had a lot of streets tore up, but we're finally starting to see some of them open back up. And finally, I'd like to remind everyone that weekly construction updates, road closures and detours, and planned road closures and planned detours are available on the city's website at www.mcpcity.com. That's all I have unless there's any specific questions.
I don't have any questions. I'd just like to reiterate what Jeff said about the general public with all the mill and overlay and all the fogging and all of the stuff that went on here in the last couple of weeks. Really appreciate everybody's cooperation. Apex themselves, they appreciate the help that everybody gave them and staying out of the way and moving equipment and keeping cars off the street and so on and so forth. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And I want to thank you that the big projects that we had, plus all of the chip seal and fogging, is all done before school start, and the openings are happening this week. So terrific job on being able to get a large amount of work done this summer.
Yes.
Kudos to you and your staff. Okay, we're down to administrative report.
There are 2 wages for your consideration today, and they include Shauna Heim, Police Department Crossing Guard, starting at $12 per hour, effective August 31st, 2020. Josh Lentz, Wastewater Treatment Plant Collection Operator 1, going from $15.66 to $16.13 per hour upon achieving a CDL. That gives an effect on August 24th.
I move we approve the wages as read.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There are 2 enhanced cereal malt beverage licenses for your consideration. Those would be the 24/7 Travel Store located at 2203 East Kansas for sale in original and unopened containers and not for consumption on premises. And also Pizza Hut located at 2215 East Kansas for consumption on premises.
Move that we approve the CMB licenses.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There is one 12-month CD at People's Bank and Trust for $1.5 million at 0.29% interest rate. That will mature on August 22nd of 2021.
I move that we approve the investment.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then one bond for your consideration, that's Flaming's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning out of Marion. It's a $5,000 plumbing bond.
I'll move to approve the bond.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You want to flip-flop 9 and 10 so we can do the study sessions and also they don't all have to stay. It'll be a longer executive session.
Okay, I am going to move to recess the city commission meeting.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.